Let's go! Let's go, Chicago!
Eddy Pinieiro saved the day for us. He probably saved our season, thank God. As the Chicago Bears barely slide by on a last-second 53-yarder by none other than Eddy Pinieiro. What's up, guys? I'm back with another post-game reaction video. I know this is a day late, so I apologize for that, but my heart had to recover a little bit from the game yesterday because, man, it was pounding the entire time, especially the last minute, right? That last minute of regulation, that was one of the craziest minutes of any football game I have ever seen in my life. Like, especially as a Bears fan, right? To see your kicker kick the game-winning field goal, right? I forgot what that feels like. I can't even remember the last time a Bears kicker made a game-winning field goal in the last seconds, let alone a 50-plus yarder, right? Cody Parkey definitely never did that. Connor Barth never did that. All the trashy kickers we had, they never did that, besides Robbie Gould. So I really think we have solidified our kicker position. We finally do have a kicker. We have a kicker we don't have to worry about. We have a kicker that can actually win us games. So I'm so freaking happy about that. I had to do this too. Put the 5. I'm sorry, Trubisky. I had to replace your 0 with the 5 right here. Although I love you, Trubisky, you know, I had to show some love to Eddy Pinieiro, my boy right now, because, man, he saved all of our asses. He did potentially save Chicago's season because going 0-2, that's not a good look for making the playoffs, right? Most 0-2 teams, they do not make the playoffs. So just to make the playoffs, man, getting that win was huge. Even though it was against a bad team, even though we barely got that win, man. A win is a win. It doesn't matter how you get it. So, Pinieiro, man, you really saved us. So we do have a kicker now, right? But do we have a quarterback? That is the question that Chicago's asking themselves right now, and with good reason, because Trubisky has not played that well in the last 2 games. You know, over this last offseason, right, I've been hyping up Trubisky so much. I know a lot of other people, a lot of other Bears fans, they have been hyped up about Trubisky's potential this year as well, because we really thought in his 3rd year he would take that next step, right? Take that leap, take that, you know, ascension to being a Deshaun Watson, maybe be like kind of like a Patrick Mahomes, like play at that level, right? Be an above average quarterback at least. You don't even have to be like Patrick Mahomes. You don't have to be like Tom Brady, but at least be an above average, consistent quarterback. And sadly, so far, he hasn't looked like that, man. And I'm not going to put all of the blame on Trubisky, right? The O-line in the first game, it deserved a lot of blame, although it was better in the second game. Matt Nagy's play calling has been very, very questionable all the time, right? I don't know what he's thinking. Like, why is he not calling the same plays that were working last year? I feel like he's trying to get too cute. He's trying to do a little bit too much at certain times. And he's not trusting Trubisky to throw the ball down the field, which I guess I understand his concerns because Trubisky has struggled with accuracy a little bit going deep, but you got to at least let him try, man. If you hold back Trubisky like this, I mean, he's never going to have any games above like 300 passing yards. He's never going to become the quarterback that you want him to become. So take the training wheels off of Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky is in his 3rd year in the NFL, 2nd in the system, and usually by now, you know, by your 3rd year, you start to figure some things out as a quarterback, right? If you have the talent, if you have the accuracy, you're able to, I mean, it starts to get a little bit easier usually, but so far for Trubisky, it hasn't. And that kind of concerns me, right? Because let me read his stats in the last game. He went 16 out of 27 for only 120 passing yards, a QBR of 29.9. Those are not good numbers at all, man. I'm going to be brutally honest again. It's just, those are not acceptable numbers for a quarterback in the NFL, right? A franchise quarterback, a quarterback playing in this system that should be so explosive, so innovative. Again, some of that blame does go to Nagy, but man, I saw Trubisky missing a bunch of people just wide open, right? When you have a player just running down the middle, wide open, down the seams or wherever, you have to be able to hit him. And his accuracy issue really concerns me because his deep accuracy is just so freaking inconsistent. Every time Trubisky throws the ball deep, I hold my breath in because I'm not sure if the throw is going to be underthrown, if it's going to be overthrown, if it's going to be on the money. Like, that stuff really, really worries me. It's still pretty early right now. It's only week 2. And, I mean, Trubisky throughout his career so far, he's always started off pretty slow. Even in college, right, his first couple games have been slow. And then he's picked it up, you know, later on. But he has to do that, like, fast because, man, Chicago is losing their patience right now. We were supposed to be a Super Bowl contender with a dynamic offense this year, an offense that took steps up, not steps backwards. So Matt Nagy and the offense, they really need to figure it out. And Trubisky, he needs to be a better quarterback. I really have to applaud Matt Nagy for getting the running game going, though, because that is the one thing that worked the entire night, right? Everything else on offense was not working, but when we ran the ball consistently, that worked. And you saw on that one drive where we had 9 straight runs with no pass attempts, we still somehow scored there, right? We moved the ball down the field without attempting a single pass. That's something out of like John Fox's offense, but it worked for us. I mean, you saw Cordell Patterson had that huge run. We ran some jet sweeps after that with Taylor Gabriel, and we got some more rushing yards from David Montgomery, who eventually pounded it in by jumping over the defenders and just barely getting that touchdown by a few inches. So we really struggled to score that touchdown, but by running the ball, by pounding the rock, we were able to do it. So hats off to Nagy for actually having the balls to stick with the run game the entire game. We finished with 153 yards rushing as a team. Montgomery had 62, Patterson had 50, Cohen had 18, Gabriel had 14, Trubisky had 8, and Mike Davis really struggled. He only had 1 rushing yard. So Mike Davis, in my opinion, he should not be a major part of this, backfield, because he has not really shown me anything to say that he is a good running back in the NFL so far. He's really struggled in both games. But David Montgomery, he looks like the real deal. He was out there juking, spinning, bouncing to the outside, just making it really tough for defenders to tackle him. And I love that, man. He's a really slippery guy. It's really tough to bring him down. So hats off to David Montgomery. Cohen was used more in the passing game like I thought he would be, but he did get some rushing attempts as well. So, man, this backfield, in my opinion, it does belong mainly to David Montgomery. He's going to get more and more carries as the season progresses, and I think he's going to break out some pretty big runs at some point this season. So hats off to our running game. Our defense, as usual, there's not much to say about them because they're just elite. They're top of the league. That defensive line was just crashing down on that Broncos O-line the entire game. I mean, poor Garrett Bowles, right? He had like 4 holding penalties, right? 4 holding penalties in one game. That's absolutely ridiculous. I felt kind of sorry for the guy because, man, he looked like he was traumatized every time the referee said holding offense. He thought that it was him every single time because, man, he was holding Mac. He was holding all of our other rushers like almost every other play, it seemed. Like he does not know how to block properly. So that Broncos O-line, it was pretty horrific. Our entire defensive line, I mean, they were wrecking havoc the entire night, making life really tough on Joe Flacco. At the beginning of the game, Joe Flacco was able to get those short passes going really fast, which, I mean, I was a little bit concerned about that at first, but I knew they would clean it up eventually, and we really did not allow Joe Flacco to get anything going deep, anything, beyond the short passes, so hats off to our entire defense yet again. Buster Skrine hopefully gets a scolding from the special teams coach because, man, that last play where he went offsides, that was really, really stupid of him. That could have cost us the game. I mean, I know that was not the only play that would have cost us the game because we really did play poorly on offense and there was other stuff that happened. So all the blame would not have been on him. But, man, that's one thing you cannot do, right? At the end of the game, give them another chance. So Skrine, you have to be better on special teams. But, man, in coverage today, he looked absolutely phenomenal. I think that he was a really good addition to our secondary. He looked aggressive. He was blitzing a lot. He almost had back-to-back sacks, right, on Flacco. So I love to see this out of Buster Skrine. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to say about this game. I mean, the main takeaways are that Eddy Pinieiro did save the day for us. We have a kicker finally. Our running game is looking really good. Our defense is looking solid as usual, especially our defensive line. But my main concern with this team is still Trubisky and Matt Nagy's play calling to some extent. If Matt Nagy does not, turn things around, he's going to have a lot of question marks on him as well. A lot of angry faces, turning to him as well. So hopefully we can clean these things up and move on to becoming a better offense because I just want to see our team score above 20 points for once. We have only scored, we scored 16 last game, 3 the first game, so we've only scored 19 points in 2 games. That's absolutely horrendous. That cannot continue. If you look at the rest of the NFC North right now, I mean, the Packers are the team to beat because their defense looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It does look like an elite defense so far. It has been, only 2 games, so you're not going to take away too much from that, but they look like a pretty good defense. All the additions they made over the offseason, they seem to be paying off, so that kind of concerns me a little bit because their offense really has not taken off yet, right? Against the Vikings, they were better, but in the second half, they really struggled to put up points. So their offense could still use some work, but with Aaron Rodgers, they're bound to figure it out eventually. So the Packers, they definitely do concern me a little bit. They are going to be a tough team to beat. The Vikings, I'm not as worried about because Kirk Cousins, I think he's a really overrated quarterback. He just does not show up in the moments you need him the most, like you saw against the Packers in the last game. So I'm not really too worried about the Vikings. I think we can definitely beat them. And the Lions, they are going to be the Lions. They're really inconsistent. They beat the Chargers in the last game, but they blew a lead to the Cardinals. So I really do not know what to think about the Lions. But yeah, that's going to wrap up my video. As always, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this game, what your reactions were, especially to the game-winning field goal, right? I want to know what you guys did after that because I know I went crazy. I was jumping around the house, just going wild. I know a lot of you guys probably went crazy as well, just yelling. I heard some of you jumped into pools or whatever. So tell me your story down below. Let me know what you think the Bears season is going to be like now because we are 1-1. We have some really tough games later on, but we have a stretch of games where I think a lot of them are winnable now because we got the Redskins, the Raiders, then the Vikings, and then our bye. Or sorry, I think it's the Redskins, then the Vikings, then the Raiders, then our bye. So regardless, we should be able to win all of those games, hopefully, and hopefully go into the bye, being 4-1. That would be really nice. But that is all. We are 1-1. We're still in this. Bear down. Before I end the video, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my friend's parents, Sandy and Rodrigo. They went to the Bears and Broncos game to celebrate their 19th anniversary and Sandy's birthday. So congrats to you guys on the anniversary. That's awesome. And you guys probably had a lot of fun, so I'm jealous. That's a hell of a game to go to. So congrats to you guys. Shout out to you guys. Your kids also want to say they love you. Shout out to your kids as well. They're awesome Bears fans. So shout out to your entire family. Awesome family. And shout out to all the other Bears fans that went to this game as well because I know a ton of Bears fans showed up. We had a lot of Bears Nation representing here. So thank you for bringing the energy. Thank you for helping the Bears win. And shout out to all of you.